A very good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you all are doing good and utilizing your time well. I welcome you all to the third session of your science class. Before that, I hope you remember and you have practiced the diagrams which I had told you in your last class. Life cycle of a butterfly and beaks and feathers of birds. Today, in today's class, we are going to recapitulate some properties of water, how water as a natural resource is important and useful to us, and the chapter of cleanliness, health and hygiene, which is very important to learn, know and follow looking into the present situation. So let's begin with some properties of water. All of you know water exists in all three states of matter. What are the three states of matter? The three states of matter are solids, liquids and gases. And water exists in all these three states. When we are drinking water, it is in its liquid state. When it is ice, it is solid. Ice is the solid form of matter. And in gaseous state, water is known as steam or water vapor. All these three states of matter are interchangeable. That is, solids can be changed into liquids and liquids can be changed into gases and vice versa. So let's see how this can be done. So all states of matter are interchangeable and let us see how they can be changed from one form to other. The process by which a solid changes into a liquid on heating is called melting. I repeat, the process by which a solid changes into a liquid on heating is called melting. Now let me give you a very interesting example for that. Imagine on a hot summer day you are eating an ice cream, and after some time due to the sun's heat, the ice cream starts melting and it starts dripping from the sides of the cone. You all must have experienced that. So why is that happening? Ice cream is a solid form of matter, but due to the sun's heat, it starts dripping from the sides of the cone and it turns into a liquid. So this process by which a solid is changing into a liquid due to heat is called melting. Let us take the example of water again, as water exists in all three states. Solid form of water is ice. So when you take out ice cube from the fridge and keep it outside in room temperature for some time, what will happen? Yes, the ice will start melting and it will turn into water or a liquid. Water is nothing but a liquid. Solid form is ice and liquid form of water is water. So ice will start turning into water due to heat. So this is solid is changing into a liquid. Now, same way liquid also can be changed into a gas. Again let us take the example of water. You see your mothers boiling water in the kitchen. Yes, mama will boil water in the kitchen. So observe when water is getting boiled. When it starts boiling, after some time, water vapor or steam starts coming out of it. So water vapor is the gaseous form of water. So the liquid water is getting changed into water vapor or steam on heating. This process by which a liquid changes into a gas is called evaporation. I repeat, the process by which a liquid changes into a gas is called evaporation. Now let us look into the reversible process of gas changing into a liquid. The process by which a gas changes into a liquid on cooling is called condensation. The process by which a liquid changes into a gas on heating is called evaporation, and the process by which a gas changes into a liquid on cooling is called condensation. Let us take the same example of the boiling water. bodies of water. Remember the two terms evaporation and condensation. Process of liquid changing into gas on heating is evaporation. Process of gas changing into liquid on cooling is condensation. Now let us look into a new topic, solutions. Okay, what is a solution? When two substances are mixed together uniformly, it is called a solution. You have many solutions, children, yes? You see many solutions. You all love to drink cold drinks. What is it? It is a solution. Your sherbets, your cold drinks, your juices are all solutions. Then there are many other solutions like perfume. A perfume bottle is also nothing but a solution which will give you a good fragrance. So let us see what are the components of a solution. A solution has two main components, solute and the solvent. Yes, it has two main components, the solute and the solvent. The substance which is added to another substance is called the solute, and the substance in which it is getting added is called the solvent. Okay, let us take the example of salt or sugar water. I want all of you to do a small experiment here. Take a glass of water and add 1 spoon of salt and sugar to it and stir it well. What will you observe? The salt or the sugar disappears. So is it really disappearing? No, it is getting dissolved in the water. So here the salt or the sugar which is being added to water is the solute and the water is the solvent. The salt or the sugar is getting dissolved in the solvent. So in salty water, salt will be the solute and water will be the solvent. It gets dissolved, we cannot see, but when we drink it, it will taste salty, or if it is sugar, it will taste sweet. So solution has two components, solute and the solvent. The substance which is being added to another substance is the solute, and in which it is getting added is the solvent. Now there are two types of solutions, some which get dissolved in water and some which will not get dissolved in water. The substances which dissolves in water like salt or the sugar, when you add, you cannot see it, disappears. So it has dissolved in water. They are known as soluble substances, and there are some substances which do not get dissolved in water. Like take a glass of water and add a spoon of oil or ghee and stir it well. You will see that the oil is forming a layer at the top and water is below it. Yes, they form two separate layers. It is not getting dissolved in water. So these are known as insoluble substances. So we have learned about evaporation, condensation and solutions. Okay, now let us see how water as a natural resource is important to us. We all know that we require water for all our daily activities. Water plays a very important role in our lives. We cannot live without water. We need water for drinking, for cooking, for cleaning, for bathing and many more of our daily activities. But from where is this water made available to us? What are the sources? In nature, there are many sources of water. There are water bodies starting from ponds, rivers, lakes, seas and oceans. These are all the water bodies, and we get water from these water bodies. It is purified before we use it. But how water is retained in these water bodies? Because nature has a very beautiful phenomenon known as water cycle, due to which water gets stored again and again and preserved again and again. So let us begin with the topic of water cycle. Water cycle. The water in the water bodies due to the sun's heat will evaporate. All of you know, children, that sun rises every day. Yes? So sunlight, the rays of the sun will fall on all the water bodies. It can be a pond, a river, a lake, a sea as mentioned here, or an ocean. So the rays of the sunlight will fall on the water bodies, and what is happening during the entire day, due to the sun's heat, the water gets water. So this liquid water, due to the sun's light, gets changed into water vapor, which is the gaseous form of water. So liquid is changing into gas on heating. What is the process? Evaporation. Evaporation is happening. Water vapor is getting evaporated from the water bodies. Now it takes time for this water vapors to rise up to the sky. During the day, due to sun heat, water is getting heated up and liquid is getting converted into gas. Water is getting converted into water vapor. The process of evaporation is taking place. Water vapor rises high up in the sky, and when it reaches the sky during the night, the temperature in the sky is cool. It is not hot, it is cool. So what happens? Water vapor gets condensed into water droplets. The gaseous form again changes into the liquid form. Water droplets are nothing but again liquid form of water. This process by which a gas is changing into a liquid on cooling is called condensation. So condensation is happening. Now this water droplets, when many water droplets come together, they join to form a cloud. Many water droplets come together and join to form clouds, and when these clouds become heavy, the water falls to the ground as rain, snow or hail. Usually it is rain. It rains, and what happens? Again this rainwater fills all the water bodies. This process is called precipitation. This cycle continues in nature and this is known as water cycle. I repeat again, we have water bodies in nature like the ponds, rivers, lakes, seas and oceans. During the day, due to the sun's light, these water bodies get heated up and the liquid water changes into the gaseous form of water, that is water vapor. Liquid changing into gas on heating. The process of evaporation is taking place. Water vapor rises high up into the sky, and there due to the cool temperature it condenses to form water droplets. This process by which a gas is again changing into a liquid on cooling is called condensation. So condensation is taking place. Many water droplets join together to form clouds. When these clouds become heavy, the water in them falls to the ground in the form of rain. This process is called precipitation. The rainwater again fills the seas, oceans, ponds, rivers and lakes, and this water is purified and utilized by us for all our daily activities. Yes, I hope water cycle is clear. I want you to practice the diagram of water cycle because you will understand it more easily when you practice this diagram. So there are three terms: evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Three processes which are happening in the water cycle and which are very important and necessary for life to continue on earth, since water is needed by all of us. Now I told you that water, how water is made available to us. It is purified before we use it. So how is water purified? There are two types of impurities in water: soluble impurities and insoluble impurities. Now they are purified in different ways. The process, water purification is a process by which water is purified to make it fit for drinking. The water which is made fit for drinking is called potable water, and this is done by the process of water purification. Water can be purified in many ways. Some of the processes are boiling, chlorination, filtering. All of you know we have aquaguards and many other filters which help us to filter the water to remove the germs and impurities. We should drink potable or clean water or else we will fall sick. So it is very important to purify water. There is one very useful method to conserve water. Though water is made available to us by the process of water cycle, still we face water scarcity. There is no water when it does not rain, we face water scarcity. So rainwater harvesting is a process by which we can conserve water. What is rainwater harvesting? When it is raining, the water can be stored in tubs or in buckets, but since everyone cannot do that, we have using the modern technology, scientists have created few methods through which in tanks this rainwater can be stored and it can be purified and used by us. So we all should follow these techniques and store the rainwater. Rainwater harvesting will really help us in our future. This was all about water cycle and purification of water and how water as natural resource is important to us. Now let us learn about cleanliness, health and hygiene. All of you know that we are going through a pandemic situation of coronavirus. Yes, when we are using sanitizers, we are washing our hands regularly. When we are going out, we are wearing a mask. Yes, so in this situation, it is very important for us to maintain our health, hygiene and keep our surroundings clean. Even when we are not facing a pandemic, it is important for us to do all these things. When we do these things, we stay healthy and fit and strong. So what are few things which you should follow? First is keep your surroundings clean. Your surroundings can be anywhere where you are. It can be your classroom, your school, your home, the playground, the park in which you play. So wherever you go, your surroundings should be clean. Why is it so important? Because if your surroundings are not clean and if garbage is piling up, all the germs will come there and then they will attack you. It will get inside your body and it will cause various kinds of diseases. So it's very important to first keep our surroundings clean. Plants, trees around us should be kept clean and should be looked after. Then wash your hands before and after meals. You know this is very important. You need to wash your hands before you have any of your meals and even after that. And please wash your hands with soap when you use the washroom or the toilet. Then keep your mouth and teeth clean. Brush your teeth twice a day. Rinse your mouth well even after your meals. Wash your hands and have a habit of rinsing your mouth as well and brush your teeth twice daily. It is very important to keep your teeth healthy or else you will get cavities and then you may face a lot of pain and many other problems. Take a bath daily and use soap. Maintain the hygiene of your body. Keep your body clean. Take a bath. When you oil your hair well, shampoo it well, keep your nails clean, cut your nails regularly and maintain the hygiene and cleanliness in your body, inside your body and even in the surroundings. Eat a balanced diet, exercise and drink plenty of water. It is very important to keep ourselves healthy. We should eat a balanced diet. We should eat more of fruits, vegetables and milk products so that we can get all kinds of nutrients and we can stay fit. We should build our immunity so that we don't fall sick. We don't fall sick and we are healthy and strong. Exercise is very important and drink plenty of water as water helps in digestion and removes all toxins from your body. So kindly children follow all these points and stay strong and healthy. So we are done with our bridge course, that is the recapitulation of all chapters which you had learned in your grade 3rd. Next session I will be going on to the first chapter of grade 4. We will start that. Just a quick revision. We did the chapter of living and non-living things where we learned the basic differences between living and non-living things and the process of reproduction. Human body, we learned about different organs and organ systems and the organs of the respiratory system. We will learn about digestive and excretory system in the upcoming sessions. Plant life, we learned about the different parts of the plant, function of each part of the plant and the structure of the leaves. Leaves are very important. They are known as the food factories of plants. The process of photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. Then we learned how different parts of plants are edible. They can be eaten as food items. There are 3 states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. Sun as a natural resource is very important to us. It is very important for plants and animals and human beings. Sunlight is necessary. The energy produced by the sun is called solar energy, which is used in different ways. We learned the properties of water, that water exists in all three states, solid, liquid and gases, and the states of matter are interchangeable. We learned about the water cycle, how the process of water cycle is important in nature. Then we learned about cleanliness, health and hygiene, and how we should keep ourselves clean. We also learned about birds and insects, where we learned about life cycle of butterfly, beaks, nests and feathers of birds. Yes, so this was all about your bridge course. I hope you will be excited to start with the first chapter of your grade 4. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care. Bye children, see you all.